Okay, so we're going to do a entry to milling uh, demonstration video here. So I just got a simple plate, create a little sketch for, create a solid extrusion down, and then put one hole in it. If I want to go ahead and machine this, I right click, say let's go to a cam plan. I have no templates in here on this new version that I'm using, so this is kind of a out of the box way of doing things here. So right now, when I say go to a cam plan, ZW automatically brings in my part 0 and uses that for my machining 0 as well. Just going top down, right, I can pick my clearance. A lot of guys I find will put that at 1 inch and then 0.1 on auto clear. Frames, just to talk about this, when you click on frames, you can see where your machine 0 is from. If I wanted to move the 0, even the 0 of the parts here, but I wanted to move my machining 0 maybe to the center of this hole, I would have to say create datum, define a datum there, and then use that in machining. Tactics are a way of doing automatic hole drilling, and we'll get to that in a further video. For now, I click on this first tab, Setup. Right, so by right-clicking on the part, we already added our geometry. If we want to add stock, we can click Add Stock, and it puts a bounding box around the stock. And if I'm okay with that, I actually just need to pick a plane and then choose OK. ZW always says you want to hide the stock. Yes. Frame, like I said, we're going to use the original 0 for this. Clearances are already defined. Speeds and feeds. Again, we can spend a whole video on some of these other functions. For now, it's just going to do a basic. If I click on Profile, what curves, notice the pick filter, what curves do I want to use as my profile? I'm going to turn my shading off for a second. I'm going to machine around these bottom curves right here, the profile of the part. And then you can change this default here to part as opposed to containment. Containments are for mostly in quick mill operations. Right now we're just going to do a 2D milling. Right? So we added our feature that we wanted to machine called a profile. I'm also going to add a hole for machining. The input type hole is a ZW3D part. If you are working off of an imported file, maybe from a customer, IGEST, whatever import flavor you wanted to use, then you would choose the input type as cylinder for this operation. But for now, I'm going to choose hole. ZW recognizes the diameter, the depth, the tolerance, and finish on the hole. So I'm going to choose OK. We can go ahead and drill this hole, so we can do operations one at a time. So I can say, give me a center drill on this hole. What size of center drill do I want to use? I'm going to choose load from library. I can further filter these tools, choose center. I'm going to use a number 3 center drill. Okay, so it tells me the pilot diameter length. If you see this big green thing that's on the screen, I don't know why they're default to do this, but they're representing the kind of the head of the machine. Maybe you just want this kind of representative of the tool holder itself, so you can make that edit there as well. So once I choose the tool, it says you want to calculate. I say yes. I can right click on the operation itself here, center 1, and choose verify, not solid verify, just choose verify. That is our wireframe verification. I can hit the plus button and I can see step by step. This is the location information that would be going to the CNC machine. So it just center drilled that hole. Now maybe I want to drill that same hole, choose OK. Now If I look back here, that's a 375 drill. Yes, we have an automated way of doing this, but I'm showing you the kind of the long-handed way of creating a drill cycle. So mill, we're going to choose over here at drill. It's 3/8. Drill. Choose OK. Again, this large then I simply right-click and choose Calculate, and then I can right-click again and choose Verify. Okay, so we were able to go ahead and drill this part. So we center drilled and drilled. Now let's go ahead and add our 2D milling for around the outside. So we're going to do a profile cut. So I clicked on the operation profile in 2x mill, and then it prompts for a feature. I'm going to use profile 1. Notice you get a little visual feedback. It highlighted that yellow for me, so I know I'm on the right one. What tool do we want to use? I'm going to say load from the library, and we'll choose maybe a 1/2 inch flat end mill. And again, these visual large shanks that they have on here, so choose OK. Do you want to calculate profile cut? Yes. Now, I noticed when I was in shaded mode, I just had one line coming up through my part. So keep in mind, 2-axis milling doesn't have collision avoidance in it, so it's relying you with a 2D line. So we're going to need to make a few adjustments here. First of all, speeds and feeds. I can click copy values from another table. I can manage that table. I can choose a material, maybe this is 200 Bernal steel, and it adjusts my surface feet in inches per flute based on that material. So again, choose OK. So this is on the wrong side, so that would be a path setting. The profile side is left, I want to be right. Calculate. Now it is on the outside. Not a big fan of the lead in and lead out, so I'm going to change that to maybe a linear circular, or yeah, and then calculate. So now I can see it. It'll feed down, or it'll wrap it down. And if we look at the display, green is our feed color. Lead in is this kind of pinkish color. The lead out is this orangish, and the link, if we had multiple steps, it would be a light blue. So I can see wrap it in, feed in, arc in, mill around, and then arc out, wrap it out. And again, right from this screen, we can choose verify. And if I turn my shading back on, let's see what it's doing here. It's going to feed around, wrap it out, wrap it up. Okay, so simple drill, simple mill. Now we need to get the code out for a machine. If we double click on machine, notice I have no machines in here. I'm just going to name this. This is my mill. And what post processor do you want to use? I'm going to click post configuration. I'm going to use a Fanuc basic inch. And I'm going to leave all those defaults on there because they're usually pretty close to what we need to get our code out. I am going to add, so I hit yes for the tool changer, and it says you want to create a new machine. We're going to create a new machine. Tool changer, I'm just going to say add all, so it does them numerically, pocket 1, 2, 3 for my tools. I hit OK. And at this point, I can right-click on Operations and choose Calculate All. I can right-click again and say Output NC for all. So it processed a CL file, then it processed an NC file based on the post processor that I told it to. So here is my G code. And notice the location of where it's saved by default your G code. All right, hope this helps.